We can help students who maybe seem like a lost cause on the surface. We can help students who look completely checked out. We can help students who appear not to care at all, not by forcing them or by throwing up our hands and rolling our eyes in exasperation. Ask me how I know. But by creating the conditions where caring feels safe again. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. So you've been hearing about the classroom reset for a while maybe? But you're wondering, okay, what exactly is inside the classroom reset? So let me take a moment to show you exactly what you get inside the classroom reset. First, we start with you, because resetting your classroom starts with resetting your mindset. And just like everything else at the Inspired Classroom, we want this to be teacher-centered. And then we're going to move into some really great proactive behavior strategies. We're going to look at creative engagement tools, simple, I said, SEL integration, and classroom culture shifts that actually stick. This is no fluff around here and no stress. Instead, you're going to get done for you templates. We're going to give you strategies that will work for your classroom, your students, your content, your teaching style. You're going to have access to a private teacher community, a lot of bonus trainings on all the things that you really need inside your classroom, monthly teacher check-ins, and here's probably the best part, personalized support. That means you can ask me questions anytime and I will give you direct answers that go with what your personalized needs are inside your classroom. This isn't just theory. I'm not sitting with a bunch of people around a conference table trying to figure out what the best sequence of a curriculum is going to be. I'm in the classroom right now too. I know what works and what doesn't. I speak with teachers all the time, and I've been doing this for over 27 years now. Over 20 of those years specifically working with other teachers in workshops and courses and retreats. So what I've done is I've brought the best of what I've taught over the last 20 years with specifically teachers and created a reset framework that will work in your classroom. This is practical, it's classroom tested, and it's from someone who's still teaching in the classroom myself. If you're serious about making a shift, I want you to go look at what's inside. Go to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset because you deserve a framework and the support that actually helps you. I have this boy, we'll call him Nick, who was in one of my math classes this year, and he would come into the classroom without a care in the world. He'd waltz right in, late, of course, put his things on his desk, and then ask to go get a snack, and then come back from that, and then ask to go to the bathroom, and then try and do a bunch of other things before sitting down at the desk, putting his head on the desk, and either pretending or actually falling asleep. To see this kid in action, you would think and make a logical assumption that he just didn't care. Didn't care about math, didn't care about school, didn't care about anything. Now, sure, he did have some trouble in math. It is tough for him, but his lack of caring went above and beyond the other kids in the class. Now, maybe you're dealing with something similar in your classroom. Maybe it's the student who strolls in late every day, like the bell is merely a suggestion. Maybe it's one that asks for a pencil and then 2 minutes later it's lost, it's gone. Maybe it's the kid who wanders into the room and kind of has this nonchalant way of doing things inside your classroom. And if we're being honest, after watching that day after day after day, it's really easy to land on the same conclusion that I initially did with Nick. This kid just doesn't care. Total apathy. And when a student looks like that on the outside, our brain tries to solve the problem the most obvious way. And we think, okay, well, how can I make this kid care? Do I push harder? Do I hold him more accountable? Do I call him out? Do I add some consequences? Well, needless to say, I tried all of those things for the first months of school. And then I tried something different. I took my own advice. It's the same advice that I share with you on the last episode in the podcast, number 119. Because yes, I am definitely not a perfect teacher. I mean, who is, right? And I need those reminder moments that help me to make better choices for myself in my classroom. But here's the thing. I've worked so hard to really understand what it takes to make a calm and engaging classroom. And now I help other teachers do just that. And every so often, I need to be that mentor to myself. And one thing I've learned over and over again after so many years in the classroom, when a student looks completely checked out, the problem is very rarely that they actually don't care. More often than not, it's that caring feels risky. Actually risky. Because if you care and you try and you still struggle, that feels a whole lot worse than pretending you never cared in the first place. And that's what I started to realize with Nick. Nick didn't avoid math because it was boring. Nick avoided math because math made him feel exposed. But not only that, Nick had months of, if not years, of teachers who got pretty frustrated with him pretty quickly. And that can be, well, a pretty crappy feeling. And that can definitely lead to a feeling of apathy. So instead of risking those feelings of being not good enough over and over again, his brain did something very smart from a protection standpoint. It said to him, let's not play this game at all. So he delayed, he wandered around, he asked for snacks, he asked for the bathroom, he found literally anything else to do. And when all those options ran out, head on the desk, total disengagement. From the outside, it looked like apathy, like complete disrespect. But underneath, I think it was actually protection. And once I started seeing it that way, it really changed the question that I was asking myself, right? So instead of asking, all right, how do I make Nick care about math? The better question became, how do I help Nick feel safe in my classroom so that he will try? Because when students feel competent and connected and safe so that they can struggle, then their engagement starts to come back. This is not overnight, but little by little. And this shift that helped me start the process with Nick was surprisingly small. So that's what I started to do. When he came to class, I actually lit up, right? I actually lit up and I told him how happy I was that he came to class. And instead of waiting for him to ask for a pencil, I just had one ready for him. And then I reminded him what he needed to do as soon as he got to his seat. I gave him warm-up math that he could fully succeed in. And when he did it correctly, I told him. And I'd go over and I'd ask him about the fidget that he brought to class and, all these different things that I would try and have little conversations with him. And slowly he started doing some work. Slowly he started to participate and actually raise his hand. He even brings a pencil to class now. Well, okay, most days he brings a pencil to class now. I mean, things are not perfect. He still has bad days that it's really hard to get him out of a rut, but they are so much better. This is the type of thing that I seem to just keep talking about lately on the podcast. We teachers have influence in our classrooms, real influence. We can help students who maybe seem like a lost cause on the surface. We can help students who look completely checked out. We can help students who appear not to care at all, not by forcing them or by throwing up our hands and rolling our eyes in exasperation. Ask me how I know. But by creating the conditions where caring feels safe again. And here's the important part. None of the things that I did with Nick were huge. I didn't design a brand new math curriculum. I didn't create an elaborate behavior system. I didn't spend hours planning something fancy. I'm not about that. I'm about keeping things simple. So I just reset a few intentional things. I noticed him. I lowered the entry point for him to be in my classroom. I gave him some quick wins. And I kept the door open for him to try again the next day. And that's something that every teacher can do. If you have a Nick in your class right now, here's one question you might ask yourself this week. Where could I make the first step for this student easier so that they can succeed? Maybe it's the first problem. Maybe it's the warm-up. Maybe it's a quick check-in when they walk through the door. Sometimes one mini reset is all it takes to start changing the story, to start changing the behavior. And if you're thinking, yes, but I have a whole classroom full of Nicks right now, well, then my friend, you're really not alone in that. And that's exactly why I created the classroom reset, because these kinds of shifts shouldn't have to feel like guesswork. Inside my reset framework, we walk step by step through how to build a classroom where connection and engagement and calmer behavior, they become the norm instead of the daily struggle. So if this episode resonated with you, I would love to support you there. You can check out all the details in the show notes or go to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset, RESET. And in the meantime, I want you to remember this. Students who look like they don't care are often the ones who are quietly hoping someone will see and believe in them. And that someone might be you. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.